When Twitter announced that it got a new CEO just about 2 years ago, I put out a video on a different channel of mine basically predicting that she would fail. Here specifically is what I said.
Even though it's a bold statement, it's also a true statement. There is almost no way that Twitter's new CEO, Linda Yaccarino, is going to be able to succeed in her new and essentially impossible role.
And I went on and talked about how she seemed like she was more of a figurehead, and her objective seemed like it was maybe just to get the spotlight off of Elon Musk and also possibly act as a scapegoat if things inevitably went bad for the company. But I think at the time, it made sense for someone besides Elon Musk to be more heavily involved at a high level of Twitter. After all, at the time, if you remember, advertisers were leaving. There were a lot of high interest payments that had to be made because Elon Musk took out many billions of dollars in funding to buy Twitter, and also the staff was so overworked that they were allegedly sleeping in the office. However, as Elon Musk's antics have continued and arguably gotten worse, it makes sense that she would want out. The ship is on fire, and it's probably not worth her reputation to go down with it. And so, understandably, she announced her departure in this tweet. After 2 incredible years, I've decided to step down as CEO of X. When at Elon Musk and I first spoke of his vision for X, I knew it would be the opportunity of a lifetime to carry out the extraordinary mission of this company. I'm immensely grateful to him for entrusting me with the responsibility of protecting free speech, turning the company around, and transforming X into the everything app. I'm incredibly proud of the X team. The historic business turnaround we have accomplished together has been nothing short of remarkable. We started with the critical early work necessary to prioritize the safety of our users, especially children, and to restore advertiser confidence. This team has worked relentlessly, from groundbreaking innovations like community notes and soon X Money to bringing the most iconic voices and content to the platform. Now, the best is yet to come as X enters a new chapter with X AI. And then she goes on to talk about what X is and how it's a digital town square. And it seems like she's trying really hard to make the separation seem amicable, and she compliments the company, where they currently are, where they've come from, and actually the future of them. And she also then, right after that, goes on to reply to some people saying pro-Twitter and complimentary things, like something Mike Benz said, that she stood up for free speech during a time when it was under attack, which is arguable, and she said the fight continues. And then someone else complimented Grok 4 and how good it was, and she replied and said that it was insanely good. And to be fair, this could be a cover so that she doesn't get sued, but it could also be real. Frankly, I don't know. But it is worth noting that Elon Musk did thank her for all of her hard work down here in the comments somewhere. Sorry, it took me a second. Thank you for your contribution from the Elon Musk account. Again, I don't know if this is real or her just trying to get out without anything bad happening, but I do know that things were happening which was making it really hard to be the CEO of Twitter, whether or not she believed in the company itself. The most recent example of which is probably the Grok debacle, which I'm sure you've heard about. Here are some of the things that Grok said. It referred to himself as Mecha Hitler, and then made anti-Semitic comments, and then also in some other places it made some really sexually suggested comments. And I don't need to tell you that that's a bad look. It also suggests that she doesn't have control over the company that she's supposed to be running. It's equivalent to an employee going off the rails and the CEO, one, being able to not do anything about it, and two, then not being able to discipline that employee or fire that employee. This is a bad look on Twitter and the platform, and by association, her. The Guardian talks a bit more about her and her departure. The CEO who never was, how Linda Yaccarino was set up to fail at Elon Musk's X. In May of 2023, when Linda Yaccarino, an NBC advertising executive, joined what was then known as Twitter, she was given a tall order: repair the company's relationship with advertisers after a chaotic year of being owned by Elon Musk. But just weeks after she became CEO, Musk posted an anti-Semitic tweet that drove away major brands such as Disney, Paramount, NBC Universal, Comcast, Lionsgate, and Warner Bros. Discovery to pause their advertising on the platform. Musk delivered an apology for the tweet later at a conference, which he called the worst post he's ever done. But it came with a message to advertisers, specifically the Disney CEO Bob Iger: go frick yourselves. Yaccarino was in the audience of the conference. So almost literally from day one, this is what she had to contend with: an inflammatory owner that says what he wants despite how it might negatively impact the company. And to be clear, I'm not speculating as to whether or not she was okay with the fact that he would say whatever he wanted, but whether she liked it or didn't like it, supported it or didn't support it, it did actively make her job as CEO more difficult, because her job is to represent the company in a good light to people who will give the company money. Whether or not she personally agrees with Elon Musk and how he chooses to express himself, it makes her job as CEO incredibly difficult. And because of that, she was probably starting to have concerns about any next steps she might want to take in her career or any future career prospects that she might have. Also, if you're enjoying this video, please give it a like, and if you want to see more business and news updates, I'd love a subscription. Now, it's no secret that Elon Musk was ticking off liberals, and probably that reflected poorly on Yaccarino. But that wasn't a total loss, because he, by and large, still had the support of the Conservative Party. However, when he accused Trump of being on the island, then he lost that support, and conservatives were mad at him as well as the liberals to be mad at him. And you can imagine that for Linda Yaccarino specifically, that's an issue, because now both parties are mad at the owner of the company that she is running. Her name is very closely associated with that, and that's bad for her image. And if people come to associate her as the CEO of Twitter that's doing all of these terrible things, then that essentially is career suicide for her. She might not be able to work again at another large company if people think, oh, she was the one overseeing the company while it had its major downfall. And there's also something to be said about quitting while you're ahead. To be clear, I don't think Twitter is doing well, but it is worth noting that she had some surprising accomplishments while she was there. The very first surprising thing that she was able to do was actually win back a lot of advertisers that had left. Elon Musk's X has successfully courted a new set of advertisers in recent months, and some big name brands such as Apple are returning. And this is Elon Musk's X, but it was under the leadership of Linda Yaccarino, who was probably negotiating these deals. Does it mean that it's seeing an advertising rebound? Well, it's complicated. The Business Insider analysis of 4 independent data sources suggests X pool of advertisers is growing, but it's far from recouping the revenue that it lost at the ad exodus following Musk's 2022 takeover. X didn't respond for request on the comment, and it's a private company that doesn't publicly report any revenue data. Now, some of these advertisers returning did have to do with the fact that Elon Musk was issuing lawsuits saying that they were conspiring against him and free speech. But either way, she managed to negotiate back advertisers that had left the platform over pretty legitimate reasons, such as anti-Semitism. And that by itself is an absolutely huge accomplishment. It's not like they're spending as much as they were. That's absolutely not the case. But the fact that they came back at all is a win, and we take those wins where we could get them. And in addition to negotiating back the advertisers, she also managed to negotiate back the NFL's exclusive updates deal with Twitter. The @NFL and @X have renewed their content membership with dates back to 2013 in a new multi-year agreement. X will continue to delight its users with NFL in-progress game highlights, including all touchdown moments after they happen in the game. Under this multi-year deal extension, the NFL and X will bring even more custom content for brands to sponsor in the form of co-branding, highlights, sponsored spaces, polls, and other creative formats. Let's go NFL. And this is huge because the NFL is very popular. If people are coming to Twitter for NFL updates when they're at work or for some other reason unable to watch games, then they will see advertisements. And that's a lot of people who are interested in football coming to see the NFL Twitter account and seeing a lot of advertisements. That's a huge amount of money. And as a result of these two pretty big things that Linda Yaccarino managed to pull off, Twitter is actually predicted to grow. And if it does do that, it would be the first time since 2021 that it managed to actually have a revenue turnaround. You can see eMarketer, which tracks these things, talks about it. X to have a mild ad revenue turnaround in 2025, but after 4 straight years of going down, a mild turnaround is pretty significant. And you can see here that it dropped in 2021, and again in 2022, and then 2023, absolutely massive revenue drop as lots of advertisers headed out, lots of users headed out because Elon Musk was very controversial. And then in 2024, remember, she's taken over at this point and she's starting to try and turn things around, getting the advertisers back. You can see that it went up a pretty significant amount. It still, of course, was an overall drop, but it was much less of a drop than it had been in recent times. And now in 2025, it's actually predicted to go up. And if it continues at the current rate, then we might actually see it grow over the next few years. Key stat, this year, we forecast social media company X, formerly Twitter, will see ad revenue growth for the first time in 4 years, but still only earn about half of what it did in 2021. X's user growth will fall 3.8% this year to 51.8 million per our May 2024 forecast. In 2022, X's users comprised over a quarter, 26.3% of social network users, according to our forecast. This year, that percentage will drop to 21.9%. So usership still seems to be going down, but if advertising revenue is going up, then, I mean, that's profit. That's kind of all people care about when it comes to the world of business. So despite all the hiccups and struggles of the company, it seems like now is actually a really good time for Linda Yaccarino to bail. She's kind of in the eye of the storm, where she's got several large controversies behind her that she managed to pull Twitter out of, and she's got even way more struggles in front of her with the whole Trump versus Elon fallout and any political things that might come as ramifications of that. So right now, she's in the eye of the storm, where she's had a good record, pulled Twitter out of a lot of big bad things, and probably has more big bad things in her near future that she wouldn't be able to pull Twitter out of. So this is a great time for her to leave. She has a list of good accomplishments that she can take to her next position and say, look, even though Twitter was doing terribly with all these controversies, I managed to turn it around and grow the ad revenue despite 4 years of it tanking to about half of what it was. Quitting while she's ahead with this list of accomplishments accomplishments is probably the best thing she could do right now, and I'm actually super interested to see where she goes next and how that turns out. Thanks for watching.